Hello everybody and welcome to this special pick a card reading. This is for the Scorpio New Moon. So the new moon is always a time in the cycle where we have the opportunity for a new beginning, to set our intentions. And what I love about Scorpio, for those of you that have watched me for a while, is among my top 3 favorite signs in the zodiac. I love Scorpio because it goes deeper than any other part of our energy, and we all have Scorpio within our charts. It's a very intense part of who we are, and it's very driven, but the drive behind it, and you can see this in people who have very strong Scorpio in their charts, and by that I mean they've either got their sun, their moon, or one of their what I call 4 compass points, their ascendant, their descendant, their IC, or their MC, or the midheaven in that sign. Those are what I consider to be that's really powerful Scorpio energy when you have one of those kinds of aspects in your chart. And the drive behind Scorpio, and those of you who know people with some people are really tuned into the aspects of astrological signs. And Scorpio people, though they're very intense and there's a certain amount of seriousness to Scorpio. What I want to point out is the drive behind why they're like that. They're intense. They don't let up until they get to the truth, and they can be very cut and dry. They can be very straightforward. The drive behind it is the fact that they simply want the deepest level of connection to another, to their inner being, their own inner being, to God, to whatever you want to term as the other. And we have many others in our lives. But that energy within all of us, remember, we all have it. Not just the people with really powerful either luminaries or points in Scorpio. It's the fact that we just want meaningful connection. And so when I was feeling into this new moon that we have today, all I kept feeling was simplicity. And I want to read to you the Sabian symbol for the peak of this new moon that happened just after midnight today, here on the 15th. It's Scorpio 24. Crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. Now in the Sabian symbols, when either a man or a woman or a child is referenced, that speaks to those parts of our energy. So even if you are a female, you have masculine energy, and what this symbol is speaking to is that masculine energy, the one inspired man. It is the part of us within us that has that drive that I'm talking about with Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, and water signs are typically known to be feminine kinds of energy. But the thing with Scorpio is the intensity. There's nobody or nothing that goes as deep as Scorpio. That's why I've always called it the auger. I have a piece of malachite that I relate to Scorpio with. I call it the auger because it keeps going down until it gets to the real root, until it gets to the bedrock. And can you feel it's a very simple way to look at a new beginning. It is the epitome of wiping the slate clean. And that's what any new moon is about, setting these new intentions, getting ourselves going on a pathway, and knowing that we can adjust along the way, of course. So I feel like this new moon with this symbol, again, I'm going to read it one more time. crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. To me, in this symbol, we are both, as individuals, we are both part of the crowd, part of the collective that we relate to. But at the same time, we have that inspired self within us and the masculine part of us that wants to have enough drive to take forward action, but from an inspired place. It's because we want to come down off from our mountain or come down off from our pedestal, which our ego loves to put us there. And mostly the ego loves to put us there because it wants to keep us safe. And what better place to be safe than up on a mountain or on a pedestal? That doesn't relate to me. I'm just going to push that over here. And this is in true Scorpio fashion. I want to come together as my individual self, as my inspired self. Another way to say this is you're inviting in the best part of who you are. You're inviting in the very best of you, living, as they say, your best life right now, right with this new moon. And it's through this level of inspiration within you. It's going to be something that when you think about it, it wants to drive you forward. It wants to take a step in making something happen that drives even more inspiration. And another part of this is that it also, remember, the crowd's coming down off the mountain. We step out of the crowd and we do our individual part. I feel like I've just been saying this message over and over again in my readings, and I know it's because it's something that I'm personally, as a messenger, I'm very passionate about it. And I have my Jupiter in Scorpio in my chart, so I have a lot of enthusiasm when it comes to going deep and getting individual and getting real, getting very authentic. I'm not a person that really likes surface relationships. And all of this is that Scorpionic energy that is really calling your heart, your soul forward with this new moon to say, how is it that I can connect with people in my own individual way, in my own individual, whatever it is, it's action-oriented. The inspired man is that we act from a place of inspiration and hope. And that's what we want to bring forward. And that's our role within this crowd coming down off the mountain. I don't want to separate myself from everybody. Instead, I want to contribute in a way that makes for more of these win-win situations and makes somebody smile who maybe hasn't had a smile on their face for a while, or offers relief for somebody because they've been working really hard and they just really need a break, Very simple things. And this is also to yourself. You can't separate from yourself either. And in fact, as the saying goes, when you're on the airplane, you've got to put your own mask on first. So a key part of this message too is this self-care piece of looking. I think Scorpio does, because it's ruled by the planet Pluto in astrology. So there is a certain rebirth that is taking place. This is a new part of you that is ready to shine out there. And again, it's not putting yourself in the crowd. It's not staying on your mountaintop or your pedestal. It is not that separation kind of a message, but it is about individuality. It is about authenticity. And there's something different that wants to be birthed through you that is, it brings its own inspiration, and most of all for you. It literally gets your blood pumping, whatever this is. And it could be in more than one area of life, but it's just something very, very deep. That's the thing with Scorpio. I mean, you're getting to the root of something that maybe has been festering for a long time, and you're ready to just like, you're just wiping off the countertops, and we're going to start again, and I'm going to light a fresh candle, and I'm going to get a different smell going on in this house. And it's that feeling when you clean your house, even if you're just cleaning up clutter, you are doing something very important for your energy when you clean up clutter. You're literally cleaning your energetic environment and resetting it to a place where you can allow more inspiration to come in, because it isn't all clogged with this kind of chaos energy that we kind of let build up. And I feel like that's what this Scorpio moon, it kind of comes in like a bomb and it says, enough. I'm really tired of, either, again, think about the crowd on the mountaintop. I'm either tired of just playing along by the game that everybody's playing, or I'm tired of like separating myself from those with inspired ideas, inspired action. I'm tired of looking at their passion. I mean, a big piece of this is how you look at others, your perception of them. How do you look at them, and how do they, do you get annoyed because they're so inspired and they've got these ideas that they want to bring to fruition and they're just bubbling? I love the word effervescent for that. That is a piece of this too. It could be either or a combo of those scenarios. But I want you to make it as personal but also as simple as you can. Because Scorpio is not about a bunch of complexities. That part of us just wants to get to the truth. And I feel like it's inspired within you to do some sort of action, but it is to create, in the end, more lasting and meaningful connections with others. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So our cards this week, I guess, are going to be speaking to that component of how the mix of inspired action within us also, it's why it's so important in our role amongst the crowd. It's our role. It creates new visions. It's like, I like to think about it like we've all got our own little kaleidoscope, and we have purposely built that as something that is very unique to our vision of what we think is beautiful, pleasing, brings a sense of joy. I think we've all got our own individual view of that, and that it does change over time. Just as when you shift the kaleidoscope, those gems slip into different places and create a whole new picture. And I'd like to think that we're all carrying that. And it's your time now to really, maybe you're taking the gems out of the kaleidoscope and putting in a new set. Maybe it's a different color palette of gems. Maybe they have a certain shine factor that they didn't before. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's more dull, like the beauty of sea glass, It isn't necessarily about the shine. It might just be about this beautiful, natural, I really feel that's so much it. It's beautiful, natural authenticity. Scorpio loves that. Just be authentic, okay? And there's nothing about that is going with the crowd or playing the big game or whatever, playing by everybody else's rules. It's not even about rules. You're just holding your kaleidoscope and you just want to look through it and have your right to your own vision. But it's inspired, authentic vision. And it inspires you enough to take action. Okay? All right. The first card up is from the Angel Tarot. You have a major arcana card, the Wheel, Archangel Michael. So this is in the traditional tarot, it's known as the Wheel of Fortune. This is card number 10. And it says on it, a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward, fortune is on your side. And as I'm reading this, what I'm seeing is this grand wheel. It does look like an astrological wheel, actually, like I'm looking at a natal chart when I'm doing a reading. And what I keep seeing is it's going, and there's these sort of locking mechanisms, okay? This you can kind of hear some things clicking into place. But the thing is, there hasn't been movement. It's been like, I'm going to go this way, and they're also giving me, I love it, your teams are they're very illustrative in their examples. The other thing they're showing me is like those old-fashioned dials for the TV when you had to tune in the antenna and you know, those of you old enough like me to remember that. But it's this sense of you've been in this position of just dialing it in, dialing it in, dialing it in. And I'm wanting to offer that to you. Meanwhile, there's a CB radio in the background bringing through information. It's like you're getting bits of information, but you felt your energy, again, the inspired man from the symbol. You felt like you've been in a stalemate kind of position where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit this way and then a little this way, but there's no like, let's get the wheel moving all the way around and let's get momentum going. Okay, and very simply put, again, simplicity feels so important for this reading. It's the fact that this new moon gives you that gusto, that momentum to really start spinning the wheel all the way around. And I don't want you to get too fixated on, positive change, and we all love to think about that. I just want you to remember the kaleidoscope example that I gave. We all have a view. If I were to give you a kit, I would love to learn how to make a kaleidoscope. If I gave you a kit and you were to make it, what materials would you put in it? What would be the color palette? What would be the sounds of those gems as you're turning it? Would it be made out of a metal of some sort, or would it be cardboard, or would you color it or put glitter on it or keep it very plain? What would that all look like? And to know that every single one is equally beautiful. Because guess what? Not everybody loves super gleaming, shiny gems and like lots of crystals all put together, and like the more you can jam in, the better. Some people, and this is core to this reading, I want to celebrate just as much the perspective that says, I just want it simple. I want just a few little beach stones in there, crushed up, and just the authenticity, the beauty of that purest form of nature just makes me feel alive. It makes me feel organic. It makes me feel like I'm part of something, that I'm forever growing and becoming something, and that I'm not always in this place where I'm a shining, gleaming gem and there's all these diamonds and it's just diamonds and, just all the glitter and glitz, I just want to honor. It's not that that's not authentic. For some people, that is going to be what they look through their kaleidoscope and see, because that is the way they're tuned. But there's something about this. Scorpio just strips it down to its most basic form. It's really, it's like, I think something that people are thinking about with the holiday season that's coming up is this feeling of like working with what you have and not needing to have all of this like big blowout spending. And I don't know, maybe I just have an appreciation of this because we have been emptying our home. We literally have like 2 chairs to sit in, TV trays to work with, very, very basic, and really looking forward to just having a very simple tree, and kind of minimal decorations instead of getting all of those out, and decorating what essentially is an empty home. But the thing is we've found a beauty within this. I'm offering it as an example for you because there is a certain beauty that I've never felt with this house like I do right now. We've been gifted another couple of months to live here. And I view that as an absolute gift because I've just really enjoyed the very basics. There's nothing or very little on the walls. It's just when you strip it all down like Scorpio likes to, there's incredible beauty, and it's an organic kind of beauty, okay? All of this is for your message, okay? I'm just offering these as examples. It just feels to me like part of this clicking that's been happening is the fact of trying to dial it in. You're done dialing it in. There's no more perfecting. Scorpio really isn't that interested in perfecting. It's interested in the truth. It's interested in the bedrock, the foundation, Now the cat is crying, like, please, will you just simply look ahead? It's not a place of looking behind or muddling around in the mud. Again, that's more of this like click, 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 click. It's like little bitty moves. You've got momentum on your side with this new moon, okay? And just go with it, with however this is translating for you. It's something that feels like it's just more authentically, again, organic feels like a big word for you. And keeping it simple and not blurring your vision with too much stuff. Keeping it as simple as you can, okay? Card number 2 is from the Flower Therapy deck. This is Release All Anger, and it is the very vibrant Snapdragon. I just love these flowers. I'm not very good in the garden, but they are just very unique looking, and they're very vibrant. This card says, don't give power to negative words by saying them. Speak from your higher self and make your communications peaceful and loving. So I think, because again, a core element with this Scorpio New Moon, the Scorpionic energy, it is right to the point. It can be very intense. And it just, sorry folks, it just doesn't like any bullshit. Those of you with strong Scorpio, you totally get what I'm saying here. It's part of the reason I love Scorpio so much, because they just don't buy all the BS. They don't really like surface conversations. To be honest, they don't really like surface relationships. They look at that and say, what the hell is the point? I'm not getting anything out of this. You're not getting anything out of this. I mean, I don't view Scorpio as being all about a number one. It's the fact that Scorpio wants, almost more than anything, to have this authentic ability to connect, but on the deepest level you can imagine. It's a lasting, albeit can be intense, but it's a lasting kind of a connection. Even if I say lasting, even if that is for a period of time. It is just something that Scorpio really, really values. And so what I'm getting out of this Release All Anger, the Snapdragon, to be honest with you, I feel like this new moon is kind of a breaking point. I feel like this is like, what is the line from whatever movie it's from? You know, I've had enough and I can't take any more. I don't think those are the words, but I think you know what I mean. I'm done, you know, I'm done. And this could be an agreement from within yourself, or it could be with another set of persons, because again, the Sabian symbol points to the crowds coming down from the mountain. It could be that sort of battle cry from within you saying, I just don't want to be part of the crowd anymore. I feel that in me, for sure, very profoundly with this new moon. But it also, don't forget, Scorpio is just as much, if not more, about meaningful, deep connection. It isn't that you want to be a hermit and go hide away, like I can't take it anymore, and I'm just going to go hide and I'm not going to talk to anybody. That is exactly the antithesis of what Scorpio is about. It's that you want meaning. It's that you want realness, the authenticity to be there. So whether that is within a very important relationship within your life, or just, I mean, think broadly too about the role. I want you to think about, what is the role that you play? When you leave this physical plane, which we all will at some point, what is the legacy that you feel you will leave behind when it comes to others looking at you within the scope of all the rest of us? Because we're all part of this big collective, but we each have a very important role to play. What is that for you? What is that legacy? And this is a part of, it's almost a frustration frustration energy rather, that I feel. Not so much on the anger, it's more that passion. I mean, frustration comes from stuffing down passion. And I have to say, it's where dis-ease also can result, because it's been like, I'm pushing you down for whatever reasons, whether it's from this life or other lifetimes. You may not want to be that role that you feel your heart calling you to, your truest essence of who you are. That is what Scorpio is about. It is the truest essence. It is part and all. You know, it's our individual role, but it's us within the collective. And for this reading, I don't want to separate. There is absolutely no separation in that. But there is value in almost this feeling I get with this is like being fed up. It feels to me like within yourself, being fed up with playing along with a relationship, with trying to fit in to roles that maybe other people have put you in, or that you have put yourself in. We do that quite often too. It's just like, I cannot take this anymore. I simply cannot be that anymore. That's how big this new moon is. And it's really shifting something very important for you. What is it that you can't take anymore? And I want to encourage you. I think I've been talking about the kaleidoscope. It's the fact that you really are taking that sucker apart. We all have a kaleidoscope. You're ready to just obliterate yours, but I'm not saying like banging it up and like totally demolishing the thing. No, it's like somebody who's taking apart a toy ship or something, or a Lego construction of some sort. You're taking great pride in taking things apart. And almost this, what I want to point you towards is this paying homage to a certain type of gem, so to speak. You think about whatever it is that makes up your kaleidoscope view. It's like there's value in you looking at each piece of that as you're taking this apart and saying, wow, I learned so much from that. It's a way to diffuse the frustration and sort of I can't take it anymore kind of energy that I'm picking up on. You may be really highly frustrated or have a certain passion that you want to bring through more than anything else on this planet. But I'm wanting you to consider using the energy of this new moon to kind of temper that a little bit and actually diffuse it. I'm seeing it turning into more like a mist. That it's not like you have to do away with that, but it's also not like you have to run and hide, okay? It's the fact that you're sort of taking things apart and being able to start fresh, okay? And really enjoying the process of the taking apart, okay? All right, change the scene, everybody, before the last card. I got a busy household here today. So our third card is from the Animal Spirit Oracle. I love this deck, love the artwork. This is, I love this. The hedgehog or porcupine has been coming up a lot lately for me. Porcupine Spirit, time for beginner mind. I feel like this card, of all three cards, this card really speaks to this embryonic kind of feel that this new moon has. It's beyond clean slate. I feel like that isn't even the term I want to use. The porcupine, the thing with this energy as an animal, they actually are not at all aggressive animals. They only use their quills for defense when they feel like they are threatened in a big way. That's the only time that they do that. And I think people don't appreciate how actually docile and what happy and content creatures they are. I just love this hedgehog energy when I've tuned into it. Again, so much with this message around the simplicity. And it says here, time for beginner mind. Remember our symbol here for this new moon. You know, crowds coming down from the mountain to listen to one inspired man. We each are that inspired man, and at other times we're part of the crowd. And I feel like that's what the hedgehog in its own way likes to teach through its example, is the fact that when things get entirely too crowded, and what I'm getting a sense of is you within a box, you within, whether anything that's got boundaries on it, it feels like that is getting squeezed right now. And to notice is that when your quills start flying out, you're just like, I feel a little bit of from the second card, a little bit of frustration, just like, if you just let me be me. And what the hedgehog is bringing up here for me is to notice and be grateful for those people who are triggering off the quills. Because the hedgehog doesn't even realize the true power, and actually it's a debilitating power. I mean, it can really, they're very effective in defending their territory. But it's like the hedgehog doesn't even know it has that within it until it is provoked in some way. And I'm wanting to point your attention in the direction of realizing that whatever it is that has boxed you in, that has made you feel like you're cornered, that the crowds are getting too big around you. Maybe it's like being in a party that you can't even move and you have to keep saying, excuse me, excuse me. You know, when just even the thought of that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I've just never been a crowds person, and more so as I've gotten older. And so this sense of can you see that those people who are making you feel crowded and like, all right, I got to start shooting off some quills because these people are getting entirely too close. And what I mean by that is you may feel like they are literally impeding your energy field, that they are trying to come in and assert their free will into your experience. And remember, that is always, and I can say this with certainty, that is always something that you do have control over as to how much you allow people to exert their free will on your free will. You know, to take their rules of the road, their guidelines, whatever, and they just plop it on you like a cookie cutter and say, this is how you're going to be. You know, and I think we really see this within ourselves when we're going through those really tough teenage years, particularly, you know, as puberty is setting in, you're trying to figure out who the heck am I anyway, not necessarily always feeling brave enough to go out there and say, look, no, I'm not going to do it. I mean, very hard to speak up, for some of us anyway, to speak up to your parents, let's say, and say, you know, no, I don't agree with that, and I'm going to do it this way because that feels better to me. I like doing my homework with music blaring through my headphones and watching something on my iPhone and something on the TV, blah, 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 blah. Like, we don't know what that most authentic free will is for each other. And this pointing to time for beginner mind that this says on the card, it's what I take that as is we are forever the student and the teacher all at once. We're playing both roles. Just like in the Sabian symbol, sometimes we're part of the crowd on the mountaintop, and sometimes we're the one inspired man. We're that inspired voice through our life experience that then you never know how you're going to inspire somebody else. But to recognize the beginner mind says, I'm just continually, I have my moments when I'm the teacher, when I'm inspired, but I feel like for you, the message is more geared towards, I am also perpetually the student. And that we never really get it all done here on the earth plane. But it's the fact that how are these people or situations that have made you feel boxed in, how have those situations helped you to realize your own inspired self, that one inspired man within you? The man is the inspired thought that creates the passion, that creates the action. You know, it's forward momentum. And can you actually, because the student will see that if you're truly in that role as the student, you see those as opportunities, and thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have that opportunity to see just what tenacity I have under the surface, or just what it is that I'm not okay with. And can you see that as a gift? Could that actually be a breadcrumb to this more authentic version of you that this new moon is helping to birth? And it's literally from the basis of who you are. Scorpio just gets into soul. I mean, it's like the base of the soul. So it's having an appreciation for those quill throwing moments. It's like, thank God you did that, because I was able to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, I care enough about this that I'm not okay with this. This is stepping over my free will, and I have charge of that. And I honestly can say you have free use of your own free will. That is for nobody else to touch. But the power is in your hands as to how much are you going to let them in, and what happens when they do penetrate in a way that really hits you, in a way that makes you feel like, okay, something's been violated here. It's like the alarm bells in the jewelry store are going off. You're getting way too close to what matters most to me. What a gift. What a gift to be able to see that. And just like the hedgehog, I've been tuning into this for a while now. The hedgehog doesn't even realize, because it's largely a very content, happy creature. I believe they're nocturnal, like just very, kind of hardworking in its own way, but just wanting to like find its way through life and do the daily work, as a saying goes, the chop wood and chop wood and carry water. I mean, it's just in the day to day. And I just want you to appreciate those quill throwing moments, because there is just nothing that gets you there faster. You have had a huge epiphany about this and are offered that with this new moon. That those are the very things that are helping you. If you've had very frustrating experiences lately, feeling like you're just being steamrollered, feeling like life has you by the tail and is whipping you around like this, all of that is saying, okay, it's time for me to step up and own my own free will. And that it's okay to do so. You are the only one that can do it. And we don't know what that is with each other until we start crossing those boundaries. I do it all the time. I don't mean to come from that place, but I know that on a regular basis that I overstep somebody else's free will and try to put my viewpoint or my action into their life. And I think secretly under the surface, all of us are teachers when we're doing that. We're showing us, the other parts of us as ever perpetual students, that we really do learn from those. We learn where our boundaries are, and we learn to say, okay, no, that is not, I can't get behind that. Those moments. It's a beautiful opportunity to shift your view and to see those quill throwing moments as a huge blessing, because I feel like you're redefining your free will and what does that mean for you? These are hardworking little buggers, and they're just basically living their life. And then when they get crossed, when they get crowded by anything, that's when the quills come out, because they feel threatened. They don't have anything else to protect themselves. But it's what makes them know, okay, and I can keep cutting wood and carrying water. I can keep doing my thing. I think all of that is shifting for you. So really open your eyes to what are those quill throwing moments that you've had. And they would be, I would say, especially strong in the last moon cycle, which is, I think, 28 days. So really pay attention to what that is. And therefore, what are the blessings from that? What have those moments made you realize? And then how are you going to take that wisdom and move forward? It's like, I'm seeing it very like doing, doing, doing. Literally the chop wood, carry water, like doing, doing, doing. It's just like tasks, very straightforward, but really thinking about that as working in your benefit. Okay, everybody, there is your reading for this Scorpio new moon. Let's make the most of it. Bye-bye for now.